Yeah. Hi, all. In this session, we will see what is shell script and its uses, and how to create a shell script, and how to execute a shell script. So let's see what is shell script. Shell script is a series of command written in a plain text. Like it's like we write. It's a file. It's a normal text file which contains the series of commands which we execute on the shell terminal. So we'll put all together those commands into a plain text file, and we rename that file with .sh extension. Then that is a shell script. It's a script which is a series of commands written, and it's a batch file in MS-DOS, but have more power than MS-DOS batch file. So the same script which we did, which was written in MS-DOS, right? We'll call it. It's similar to that, but yeah, the shell script is much better than DOS batch files. So the few use cases of applications where shell scripts are used can be, like for automating the code compilation process, or maybe like a daily repetitive activities, automating the repetitive activities in day-to-day monitoring or life cycle of an application, or any software program. And running a shell script can be used in running a program, or creating a programming environment, or completing the batch jobs, manipulating the files, linking existing programs together, executing some routine backup and restore activities for any of the databases or other systems, and for monitoring the systems which are hosted on Linux operating systems. uh, yeah, and also like a combine lengthy and repetitive sequence of commands into shell script can also combine, like lengthy and repetitive sequence of commands into a simple and single commands. And it also generalize a sequence of operation on one set of data into a procedure, like that can be applied to similar set of data. And also it can create new commands using combination of utilities in ways the, like the original authors uh, never thought of. Yeah. And also some it also, like it might it can it some we can even create some aliases, and the uh, yeah, aliases in shell scripting. So it can we can also create some customized data sets on the fly, and like call the applications using shell scripting. So this is mainly used in it is very useful in when you're working in a database environment. So we can automate many of the monitoring activities using the shell script, and like we can even automate the regular maintenance activities, such as backup, restore, and recovery activities, and like some cleanup jobs on the Linux operating system file systems, and to monitor the file system, to monitor the backup jobs if there are any failed attempts. These are the multiple use cases when you for the using for the shell script. So next, let's see like what is a shell, Linux shell. So the shell is the utility that processes your request. When you type in a command at your terminal, the shell interprets the command and calls the program that you want. The shell uses a standard syntax for all commands. So what it does is the shell the shell is a term is the shell when you type a command in the terminal, the shell what it does is it will takes the input of our command, and it will call the corresponding program that the which we the executable file, and it will execute the command. So here we have various flavors of shells, that is C shell, bourne shell, uh, corn shell, and bash shell. We have four shells actually. So C shell, bourne shell, corn shell, and we can call it as we have another is TCSH, advanced version of C shell. And we mainly use K shell, corn shell, or bash shell. So when we are working with shell scripting, so there is sometimes we need help. Like we may not be remembering the exact syntax of the command with multiple arguments or not, but they in that situation we'll be having these three utilities actually. So help, man, and info. To get the help in Linux command line, you can use the following commands followed by the command name to get the display the information of the command in detail. So when you need, suppose if you are if you want to check a date, if you want to get a date in a, particular format, what you can do is you can do man space date. It will give the usage of that command, and it will also give the syntax, what all the arguments we have for that command. Yeah, and also the same with help and info as well. It's similar to that. So now let's get started with shell scripting. So every shell script should begin with a cbang. So here the cbang is nothing but the sign hash exclamation is called as cbang, and this is written at the top of the script. Each script it passes the instruction to the program slash bin slash sh. To run your script in a shell, start your script with hash the cbang followed by the shell name. So for example, whenever you write a shell script, right, we'll put a line in the at the starting of the script, like slash hash exclamation slash bin slash bash. So we are conveying the shell that we are using we are using the bash shell. So it will yeah, this is the syntax. Yeah, for the bash shell. And like this is the cbang is nothing but like the absolute path to the bash interpreter. And also it consists this cbang consists of a number sign and an exclamation point character followed by the full path to the interpreter, such as the slash bin or slash sh slash bash, like this. All scripts under Linux execute the interpreter specified on the first line. So whenever you write a script, the scripts are executed under the it will go to the first line, and it will see whether it is a bash, it was written with a bash or sh or like that. It will check, and it will go to the it will interpret according to that first line of the bash bash cbang. And also this ensures that like bash will be used to interpret the script even if it is executed under another shell. um, when you specify dot bash shell, right, it will go and interpret only under the bash shell. And the cbang was introduced by Dennis Ritchie between version 7 and Unix version 8 at Bell Laboratories. If you do not and also if you do not specify any an interpreter line, the default is usually the slash bin slash sh, but it is recommended that you set slash the cbang line in the at the starting of the script, every script. And next, coming to the comments. Comments, you should be aware of the fact that you might not be the only person reading your code. A lot of users and system users run the scripts that were written by other people. So if you want to see how you did it, comments are useful to enlighten the reader. So whenever you are writing a scripts, there might be scripts, small scripts, and like a large scale large scripts which are having 600-700 of lines of code or thousands of lines of code. So the owner of the script understands very well, because he has written this script, and he has written the code, and he know like what function does what which lines of code does what function. So once you leave the organization, so when the other maybe other team member or colleagues take over this script, it's very difficult to understand for them to like go through those thousands of lines to understand. So the Linux has a beautiful feature called comments. So for each function you define in the shell script, if you can add a comment saying that this is using you need to specify hash symbol at the beginning of the line, and then write the comment like what is the purpose of that code, that lines of code, below lines of code. So suppose you are writing few lines of code to print a text. So comment it saying that below lines are to print the print the output, so that right it will be very easy for others to understand your script. So let me explain you with an example. So yeah, let me show here. So this is my shell script. So what I'm doing is I'm writing a I'm invoking the script. I'm writing a shell sample shell script slash bin slash bash. So here what I'm doing is I'm just printing a line echo. So now what I'm doing is going to do perform some operations. So what I can do is to understand the others, I will add a hash and I'll add a comment over here. Addition, addition of two values. So here I'm writing the command echo dollar 4 plus 5. So this will return me 9. So but whenever I have written this script, but uh, the other person will not be able to understand if I don't mention the comment. It's a small script, it might be understandable, but when you go with thousands of lines, shell script to have thousands of lines, right, then it will be difficult for them. So this is how we represent the comments. Like just start with the hash symbol and then write the comment. uh, yeah, it will treat it as a comment. It will not, this line will not be executed. This is just for understanding the purpose of the code to the next team member or other colleagues. So here I started my script with this hash cbang and telling the script interpreter to interpret using the bash shell. So let's go to the next slide. So here is now let's see how to execute a shell script. So once you open here are the steps to execute a shell script. Once you open the terminal, go to the directory where you want to create your shell script. Using the cd command, change directory command, which we discussed earlier in our earlier sessions, and create a file with .sh extension. So right, the .sh is a extension for the shell script. So for text file we will be having .txt. For PowerPoint presentations we will be having .ppt or pptx. In the same way we will be having .sh extension for shell scripts. So now once you create a file using the VI editor, VI space, the syntax would be a VI space uh, uh, that's file name with the .sh extension file. And then once it opens the file, right, you write all the commands or all the code whichever you want to execute through that shell script, and then save the file. And once you save the file, you need to give execute permission to the shell script which you want to execute. Once you have granted the execute permission, then you need to run the script with / that file name. So let me give you an example on how to create a shell script, how to execute it. So here, let me here add it. So first step is go to the directory. So I want to create a script under temp directory /tmp. So I'm going to /tmp. Now what I do is I will create a file, va test.sh. So I created, I open the tag, I create, when you do this VI space, this test.sh, it will open a file. It will create a file with test.sh and it will open the file. You do the change, you write update the code in the test.sh and save this file. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to give execute permission to this uh, test.sh. So chmod plus x test.sh. Now I granted the permission. So now I'm going to execute this file. So there are different ways of executing a shell file. So one is /file name. So my file name is test.sh, and the next way is sh space test.sh. This is another way. So, and like we have another way also. If you want to like know like how it is going in depth, like how in a verbose mode, like in a debug mode, if you want to suppose if you have some thousand lines of code and you are not able to know where this shell script is failing, so in that case what you need to do is sh space hyphen v and then script name test.sh. So when you execute this file, it will execute in the verbose mode. So it will be easy, to track like wherever it is failing. So yeah, this is how execute a shell script. So now let's see how to source a file. So there are certain environment files which holds the environment values. So like so if suppose if you are Oracle DBA, you need to when you are connecting to the Oracle database, you need to set Oracle database SID name and the home path. So if you are suppose a Java developer, you need to set Java path, Java class path, and so and so parameters. So each and every variable we need to set a value, like suppose if you say Java home path, you need to set the Java home path equals to the path of the location where the Java executables are there. So in the same way, you need to export some variables uh, in some uh, environment variables. So here is the example. Let me show you. So export. Suppose I want to set a few parameters which I want to execute whenever I log into the shell terminal. I want some parameters to be set by default. So for each and every time, if there are any like 5, 6 parameters, I have to type the commands every time. So what I put is I do is I'll write all these commands into a file called .env, and whenever I log in, right, I just execute this environment file, and it will take care of all the commands. So uh, what I do is echo hostname. No, so date. So I'm just putting these as example. So these are like just PWD where I am. So what I'm doing is I'm adding it into a file. I'm creating a file using vi editor vi space file name. So test.env. So I'm going to create this file with these commands and I saved it, and then I'm going to give execution privilege to this file chmod plus x dot env. So now when I set this execute when I source this file, right, so like dot space dot slash test dot env. So these values will be loaded into the environment and these values will be set. So then so here I can set like export. This is how we declare variables, but on the variables we will talk much details on further sessions. So export date equals to dollar, sorry, dollar date. So this is how I'm giving a variable and value. So this is a user defined variable I am exporting manually. So customized variables or user defined variables, we will learn more details in the later sessions. So this is how, like whenever we are creating an environment file and we are sourcing it, sourcing this file. And there is another way of sourcing this environment file. This is one method, and other method is source. There is a command called source and the file name. This will source the environment file, and it will load the environment variables into the it will check the environment variables. And you don't need to set all these commands manually, execute these all one by one, these commands. So this is about uh, sourcing the shell script environment variables, sourcing a file. Yeah. So next is echo command. What is echo command? The echo command is a built-in command. uh, the built-in echo command is an older version of printf command. So bash provides it for compatibility with almost all the shells. Echo does not use a format string like printf command. So earlier we have printf command to print the text actually. So now this is a uh, um, older version of printf command. This echo command is used to display the text or variables on the output screen. It's a used for displaying lines of text or string which are passed as arguments on the command line, and also it is one of the basic command in Linux and most commonly used in shell script. So we have different we'll also look at the different options of echo command. So the basic syntax is echo space text. So here we'll see different types of usage of echo command. So let's see this. So let me do this here. So let me write it. So what I did, this is there are few examples. So if you want to print a text actually, so the command is echo space some text, like welcome to Linux. And next we have is echo. You can even use like this actually. Welcome to shell. So here you can even use like this. So these are the two options, and you have multiple ways to do this. This is just printing the text. Yeah. So here we have an right hyphen n option. It will print in the new line, same line. So whenever do the execute this command echo welcome to the Linux training, it will print on the print the text welcome to new line, and it will the dollar prompt will be in the new line. But when you use hyphen n option with the echo command, echo hyphen n, and then welcome to Linux training, it will suppress that going to the new line. It will automatically it will start the next dollar prompt at the after this training itself. So it will suppress. We can suppress it actually the new line feed. So even in okay, yeah, we'll look on the variables in the later sessions. So here again we have multiple options with the echo command. So this is one of the option, echo with the hyphen e. So option echo hyphen e option stands for enable escape sequence in echo command. In some cases, you may require to print multiple lines of output using echo command. Usually, we have to use multiple echo commands to do so, but we can do the same in echo command by enabling e hyphen e option in it. So the following are the most used options. in the echo escape sequence. When you use slash n, right, the new line escape sequence, and when you use slash t, it's a new horizontal tab escape sequence. So when you use this here, if you see an example, echo hyphen e hello, welcome to the Linux training. So here we use slash n. So after the hello, we have given slash n. So the next part to the slash n will be displayed on the next new line. So if suppose in case instead of the slash n, if you have given slash t, then it will add a tab space and it will print the output in the same line.